Good morning and good afternoon. We're going over, yes, the top 10 worst characters in Genshin Impact. Expect a lot of saltiness. I am anyway down in the comment section below. I'm going to name someone's favorite character and just as a little bit of a slight little reducive of the salt here. We all know that you can do wonderful things with all the characters in Genshin. However, if you're going to take 10, and 10 is a lot, actually. I have a sizable cast, but most characters in Genshin are good at stuff. But if we're going to take 10, we're gonna make people a little bit mad there going through these 10 guys. So if you're all the time, make sure to hit that sub button, hit the notification bell to join the family. Now, first of all, we're gonna pick the low bearing fruit, the low hanging fruit, Amber, my doll, Amber, my doll. Now, just because you see the characters aren't maxed out on this account does not mean that I don't get to play with them due to the wonderful members of the community where, we can log on, hang out a little bit, test some stuff out, review accounts. So I've had a lot of time to do a lot of stuff, a lot of the characters out there. And Amber is one of those characters that can do cool stuff. However, she is just so held back by a wide variety of things there. And this is going to be, first of all, the way her kit works here and her hardest hitting skill, good old Fiery Rain. Well, internal cooldown for rocking, vaporize and stuff, it's a little bit hard there on it. So she just suffers from having like a pretty basic kit. Multipliers, not the highest in the whole world. Got to shoot the bomb in the foot. Do all this cool stuff, just kind of try to make her work. She needs a little bit of love. Her thing though is that she's pyro, so that's cool. All right, so Amber, you're gonna get there one day, girl. I know. Maybe we'll get like Amber version 2.0 or something. 5-star Amber, right? Amber the mad Amber. Now the other one here we're gonna go over is Elisa. Now Elisa does have some abilities that you can use her for. Primarily the use for Elisa, if you're gonna be using this girl, is gonna be from one of her ascensions here, which is going to be this one right here, static electricity field, defense down 15% from lightning arrow. So if you're one of those damage per view physical YouTube mains out there, this is going to be a character that you're going to have a lot of fun with because you can use her to proc superconduct for like a character like Eula and give defense down. However, outside of that, she has such a convoluted kit, right? You can pop that for a little bit of damage, pop that, and then you do the hold. Like, here's all my damage, and then it's on like a 1-year cooldown. So I mean, she suffers from so much stuff. Not the craziest thing in the whole world. Catalyst character suffers from not being able to proc stuff for a lot of characters. It's just a lot of work, Elisa, my girl, and this is why you're gonna be down here. Now the next stream I'm gonna kind of wrap up as one. It is technically cheating, but they're all at the bottom tier of the worst 10 characters in Genshin Impact for this reason. And we're gonna be talking about Kokomi, your girl Jean, as well as Chi-Chi. So why are these three so similar? Well, it's because they all kind of try to fulfill very similar roles. They do slightly similar things, but their main role is a healer that can provide damage. And honestly, unless you're playing multiplayer where these characters can shine, but the vast majority of Genshin is honestly just single player. There's no real reason for you to play multiplayer unless you're just starting out. Single player on-field healers, they're just not good enough. And even though they do damage while they're on-field healing, if you can have your DPS out there or make the quick swap teams that just work so well, the healing that these characters put out, just use someone like Bennett, right? Just throw Benny Boy out there, use Xingshu, use Diona, use all these other 4-star characters that just make these 5-star on-field healing DPS characters, just make them look irrelevant. So that's going to be all three of them. Obviously, Chi-Chi can proc superconduct, Jean can yeet dudes in the air. That's fine. That's all well, good and done. You can wet things with a Kokomi, okay, Little Mermaid out there. But as far as their main role, healing, it's just so unnecessary in the way that Genshin's played right now in a single player environment that I'm gonna put all three of them down at the bottom of the barrel. Now, the other character that we're gonna be talking about here is also a healer, and I'm gonna put her down there too, and it's Barbara. Now, Barbara is everyone's favorite healer when they first start playing the game. And that's awesome because, well, Barbara has this fantastic ability in her elemental burst, which is gonna full on heal basically all your other characters. You just build her up for HP and it's gonna feel like Omega God mode activated. You just pop, and you're good to go. And she's also, the only 4-star character that actually has, I don't know, an animation for the elemental burst, which I found is very weird, but it's cool. I like that. Maybe that's why she got a skin. I don't know, but she does do a lot of cool stuff when you first start playing. However, outside of her shining miracle elemental burst, she's another on-field healer. Yes, you can do the DPS Barbara meme build thing, right? Cool. But if you're doing an on-field healer Barbara, she's not doing damage at all out there on the field, unlike Jean in Chi-Chi in Kokomi. She's doing 0 damage, so she can either heal or do damage. And I mean, Barb, we all loved you early on, but early on is not early on anymore, unless you're a brand new player. You'll fall off very quickly before you replace with some other girl. I don't know, maybe the character that we play all the time on this channel, you know what I'm saying? So now that I've busted a lot of chops and broken a lot of hearts out there with some of the easy low-hanging fruit, and I hated on all the healers in the game outside of, well, one 4-star healer, we're gonna go over some of the other characters. Now, Sayu, I'm gonna count her as one of the worst 10 characters in the game. Why? Because there's so many good animo characters. You can do cool things with Sayu, but I just feel like all the other animo characters, if you have access to them, are just better, right? We're talking about Venti, Kazuha, Sucrose. They can do so much more broken things at a higher increased uptime, better crowd control, better damage boosting, better swirl spam. All of those characters, those three, do things better with animo than Sayu can do on her own right. Now, I do like Sayu for one reason, like we all do, the roly-poly squad, okay? But as far as an animo character goes, one of the 10 worst in the game. You can do some meme things. She's a little bit bugged. At least she used to be in the Abyss. You could have like infinite shatters. I don't want to get into that whole thing. But without that, I'm gonna have to give it to Sayu being one of the worst. No attack bunny. The best aesthetically, but just doesn't really tickle my fancy as far as an animo character goes in Genshin Impact. Now, to break more small hearts, Klee, this girl right here. So Klee, a very old kit, very outdated kit, one of the first 5-star DPS banners. I think it was the first 5-star DPS character that had her own banner. So the one right after Venti is Klee. In order to use her in any sort of super successful ways to really kind of keep up with the top of the tier damage dealers in the game, you have to know all of the animation cancels, right? We're talking about the animation cancel from mini bombs to big bombs to just throwing these guys out like this, get this timing down. Otherwise, your character is going to be doing this number all day. And then don't even get me started about the big old bombos here. Okay, as a C0 character, Klee is so old and outdated right now. She just feels like you're just trying to bug the game out with every animation cancel known to man to make it worthwhile to play her. So this is why she is at the bottom of the tier list, in my opinion, one of the top 10 worst characters in Genshin Impact. Now, another one here as well is going to be none other than Keqing. And this is very, 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 very near and dear to my heart, because Keqing, when I first started playing Genshin, I was like, that's the character I want to play. Who would not want to play the character that goes, wow, fly over here, come over here, do some cool stuff like that? I definitely did, which is why I wanted to level her up on my first account. And well, you know, we did do that. And then here on this one here, I just had to stop playing her. I'm in the process of leveling her on this account too, but man, oh me, oh my, she is just so outdated. She does so many things. She just suffers from so many setbacks. Number one, she's an electro character that wants to do electro damage, doesn't really floss well with the meta at all that much, all too often here. Her best DPS combo is very expensive, and if you actually use this, the charge attack combo in combat, you knock the enemy away from you, and your charge attack pulls you backwards. So it's just this big mess of stuff that you have to do with this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and you have to sprint back up, and you run out of energy so fast with this character, it's not even remotely funny. Now, she did get a lot better recently just due to like C6 for Kujo Sara. The new weapon came out, the Mist Splitter, if you have that access to that. Pog, awesome. Just stuff like that, but as a character herself, still gonna be one of the worst of the 10 in the game. Now, one of the characters that I think is gonna be right now, as far as 2.1 is concerned, no constellations, Aloy, another reason, oh, I wanna love this character so much, but even if you try to abuse her little elemental skill bomblet thing, pick them all up with Jean, you need to get 4 of these things to pop out. And just like with Klee, it is a freaking nightmare. Look at all these mines, actually. That's kind of funny. It's a nightmare to get all of these things to get absorbed by enemies, so you get your 4 stacks for your nice ice version of your normal attack. Because if you don't get all 4 of these little bomblets, this character's pretty much dead in the water. Now, she does have a nice little elemental burst thing, but outside of that, not a whole bunch of support, not great at applying cryo. She has this and her elemental burst, and that's about it. A little bit of attack buff there for your teammates. Okay, 16% for herself and 8% for party. That's not really that big of a deal there. And then although damage buff for herself, you have to get into freeze form. And if you don't get into freeze form, this character is just, I want her to be good. She needs constellation, she needs some loves. Star of the Another World, come on, where art thou? We need you to come in here with 2.2. So look forward to hopefully that coming out with 2.2, although we heard nothing about it at all. Hopefully PSN will make an announcement and Genshin will and say, hey, there's gonna be some love coming to one of the worst characters in Genshin Impact with Aloy out there. Sorry about you, Horizon Zero Dawn friends. Steven apologizes.